In the early hours of a quiet September morning in 1945, on a small farm in Fruita, Colorado, something happened that should have lasted only a few seconds. A chicken was placed on a chopping block, an axe was raised, and with one clean swing, the bird's head was severed. That should have been the end of the story. But instead, it was the beginning of one of the strangest true stories in American history. A story about survival, biology, luck, and a chicken that went on to live without a head for another 18 months. This is the unbelievable, very real story of Mike the Headless Chicken, right here on History of Simple Things. Mike was an ordinary 5.5-month-old Wyandotte rooster, owned by farmer Lloyd Olson and his wife, Clara. Like many farm families at the time, the Olsons raised chickens both for eggs and for meat. On September 10, 1945, Clara asked Lloyd to prepare a chicken for dinner. Lloyd chose Mike. The plan was simple: remove the head, let the body stop moving, and finish the job. But after the axe came down, something deeply unsettling happened. Mike didn't die. Instead of collapsing, the headless rooster stood up. Then he walked. Then he tried to clean his feathers. He even attempted to crow, producing a strange gurgling sound from a neck that no longer had a head attached. Lloyd stared in disbelief. Any farmer would have assumed the movements were just post-death nerve reflexes. But minutes passed, then hours, then the night. Mike was still alive. As unbelievable as it sounds, there was a biological explanation. The axe had removed most of Mike's head, but not all of it. Crucially, the blade missed the brainstem and left one ear and a large portion of the brain intact. In birds, many basic functions, like breathing, heart rate, and motor control, are regulated by the brainstem rather than the higher brain. Even more importantly, the axe missed the carotid artery. That meant Mike didn't bleed to death. In most chickens, beheading leads to rapid blood loss and immediate death. Mike survived because the cut was oddly precise in all the wrong ways. It wasn't a miracle. It was anatomy and chance colliding in the strangest way possible. At first, the Olsons assumed Mike would die within a day or two, but he didn't. He survived the night, then the next day, and the day after that. Lloyd decided to care for him. Without a beak, Mike couldn't eat or drink normally. So Lloyd fed him using an eyedropper, dripping a mixture of milk and water directly into his exposed esophagus. Occasionally, he'd clear mucus from Mike's throat using a syringe. It wasn't pleasant, it wasn't easy, but it worked. Mike regained strength. He could balance. He could walk. He responded to sound. He even tried to engage in normal chicken behavior, scratching at the ground and preening his feathers. By all practical measures, Mike was alive. Word spread quickly through Fruita. Neighbors came to see the impossible chicken. Then reporters arrived. Then photographers. Soon, Mike was traveling. Lloyd realized he was sitting on something extraordinary. He took Mike on the road, exhibiting him at fairs, sideshows, and tourist attractions across the country. People paid 25 cents, sometimes more, to see the chicken that refused to die. At the height of his fame, Mike was earning Lloyd around $4,500 a month. Adjusted for inflation, that's tens of thousands of dollars today. Mike appeared in magazines, newspapers, and newsreels. Scientists examined him. Crowds gathered. Some people were amazed, others were horrified. But everyone remembered him. In a world just emerging from World War II, Mike the Headless Chicken was a bizarre reminder that reality could still surprise people. Skepticism followed Mike everywhere. Many people believed it was a trick, that the head had been hidden somehow, or that the chicken was being manipulated. But veterinarians and biologists examined Mike and confirmed the truth. There was no head. What remained was real tissue, real nerve response, and real life. In fact, scientists already knew that animals could survive severe brain trauma under very specific conditions. Mike was simply the most dramatic and public example of it ever recorded. He wasn't undead. He was just incredibly unlucky and incredibly resilient. Mike lived for 18 months without his head. That alone makes him a record holder. While other chickens had survived briefly after decapitation, none had lived anywhere near as long. Guinness World Records would later recognize Mike as the longest surviving headless chicken in history. But his life wasn't easy. Mike had no awareness in the way we understand it. He didn't think, plan, or feel emotions as a normal chicken would. His remaining brain tissue allowed basic survival functions, not consciousness as we know it. Still, his body kept going, walking, resting, responding to stimuli. He existed in a strange space between life and death. In March 1947, while traveling in Phoenix, Arizona, tragedy finally struck. Mike began choking on mucus in his throat. Normally, Lloyd carried the syringe used to clear Mike's airway. That night, he didn't have it. Without help, Mike suffocated. After 18 months, the chicken that refused to die finally did. Mike was buried, and his story might have ended there, but it didn't. Today, Mike the Headless Chicken is more than a curiosity. He's a local legend. Every year, the town of Fruita, Colorado, hosts the Mike the Headless Chicken Festival. It features a parade, chicken games, a 5K run, and plenty of strange humor, all celebrating a rooster who defied common sense. Mike's story is also taught in biology classrooms as an example of how the nervous system works, and how survival doesn't always look the way we expect it to. He reminds us that life is fragile, but also stubborn. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.